Adding to a musical conversation in jazz is what we musicians aspire to do comfortably, all while having fun doing so. Just with any spoken language, jazz has its own set of vocabulary, as it is a spoken language in itself. A complex one, just like any other. There are some key points that we can focus on as a musician to improve our improvisation skills. Our first one is guide tones. Now when you hear a chord, you hear 3 notes. The third note, or the second note, is what defines the characteristic of the chord. If we can build our improvisation skills based on these sets of notes, we can get a good foundation of what it means to improvise. So doing soloing using any of these 3 notes over this chord will sound good. Now these are what are called guide tones, but what we do in jazz is sometimes we want to add extra color to it. Extra color being some extensions. Extensions are just adding more notes to those already existing 3 notes. We can add a 4th note, a 5th note, a 5th note, and as many as we want. And these are called extensions. Using any of these can add color and variation to our improvisation. Sometimes we want to add some crunchiness to our improvisation. Adding this note made it sound crunchy, and just like with slang in any vocabulary or language, this does not sound right to our ears at first. But over time, learning the language and learning the slang, this starts to add more color and variation to our solos as well. Our second key point is transcribing. Transcribing and listening to other people's solos improves our own skills and language. We have Charlie Parker, who is arguably one of the best saxophone players who pioneered the bebop language. The bebop language being a faster, more complex language. We have Louis Armstrong, who really nailed in using those first 3 notes of the chord to be better at soloing and make catchy melodies with that. And then we have Ella Fitzgerald, who is known for her extraordinary singing skills along with her scatting skills, which, just like any instrument, uses the same set of rules and the same vocabulary to make a solo. Now, these 3 are important to really dive deep into their music in order to achieve more complex ideas within your own solo. Now, having the guide tones set up for you and transcribing the language in itself, which is one of the most, if not the most important skill, as with any other language, you need to hear it before speaking it. You also need to practice this and apply it. Now, the application can go about many ways. You can play along with recordings. You can play around with those transcriptions that you listen to from Charlie Parker, Louis Armstrong, or Ella Fitzgerald. But along with that, practicing it in a real-life setting, such as a jam session, can help you improve. These jam sessions are filled with other musicians that want to use their own set of vocabulary, their own set of colors and different sounds and variations of the language. And this helps you improve not only by hearing it, but by applying what you've learned through the transcriptions and the guide tones. As we know, guide tones, transcriptions, and practice help make a more strong, sensible solo within our peers and community, as this not only helps in making other musicians understand, but making it pleasant for the listener to listen to. Finally, Like any language, this is a very complex series of vocabulary used to help all of us communicate with each other and express ourselves freely. So learning it by using our guide tones, as mentioned, transcribing and practicing it will really help you improve more.